I'm almost as excited about the Wellness Expo as I am about the fact that it's spring. Spring always makes me think about rabbits and Easter and eggs, so I invited my friend Claire Deneen to come today to talk to us about eggs and chickens. Hi, Claire.
Hello.
I understand you are a chickenologist?
Chicken blogger.
Chicken blogger. All right. Tell me about your chicken blog.
Well, I've kept chickens for about 15 years. I started a Facebook page about 6 years ago, and then I thought, oh, why don't I start blogging? And so in that 5.5 years, I've written about 700 articles, and I've partnered with other chicken keepers as well as vets and vet techs to put out, I think, a pretty high caliber blog about taking care of chickens.
So I understand your blog is very science-based, Claire.
It is.
Then maybe you can answer a question for me and tell me, how are eggs made? We see them everywhere. They're ubiquitous, oval-shaped. How are they made? Where do eggs come from?
This little thing is a marvel of nature. So you think about eggs and you crack them open and you know that there's an albumin, which is the white or the yolk. But think about a conveyor belt that's on the inside of a hen. So a hen is born with all of the ova that she will have her entire life, just like human women. Right? And so there's all of these eggs in development, and they go down the conveyor belt. And at each stage, there's something that happens. So you've got the yolk, which is what is the food source for an embryo, if there is one. And then the next stage, there's an albumin. And if you know what those little white bands are, which I used to pick out of my eggs before I made them when I was a kid because I thought they were something to do with a chick. They're not. They're very tightly wrapped, coiled albumin called chalaza. And what they do is they hold the yolk centered. So if a chick is actually developing, it keeps them in the middle so they don't get bonked around if the egg is rolling under the hen while they're incubating.
All that is going on inside of a chicken.
All of that. Then at some point, sperm, which can be held inside little sperm suitcases in a hen's reproductive tract for up to 21 days, there's one little point at which that sperm can join in the egg, and if that happens, the egg is fertilized, and if it doesn't, the egg is not fertilized. Then it continues to move down, and then there's a little membrane that happens, and then there's a shell. And just before it leaves the body, there's something called bloom, and it is sort of a fluid that gets coated around the egg, and that protects it from bacteria. That whole process takes about 24 hours. So some workstations are just a few minutes and some are a few hours. And that's a miracle of nature. And that took somebody a lot of protein, a lot of calcium, and about a day.
That really answers the question of where do eggs come from. I love that your blog is science-based and that you're talking a lot about information. You brought us some eggs to show us today. Can you tell me why these eggs all look different?
Sure. I didn't bring you any white eggs because everybody knows what a white egg looks like, and none of my hens laid white this week. So you probably don't know that eggs come in a variety of colors, but all eggs start as white eggs. So we talked about what's on the inside of the egg. So shell is actually made of calcium carbonate, and it is white. And so as it's traveling down the conveyor belt, a white egg may leave the body white, but if a hen carries genetics for a brown egg, and there's about 13 genes that create brown, and they can be anything from light brown to very dark brown, it's a pigment, and it's kind of like tinting. And so as it travels down, this brown gets overlaid. So if any of you have brown eggs at home, crack them open and look on the inside. You will see that the brown egg is brown on the outside, white on the inside.
You heard it here first, folks. The mystery is solved. Thanks for joining us.